Hey, welcome back to the Soul Pod. This is video number 5 in the series of identifying psychological, spiritual, and emotional anxieties and using your identifying of those to be able to shift them and start overcoming those anxieties, turning them into spiritual and personal growth. So this one is on psychological anxieties. Help you identify what those are by looking at the triggers and then look at a couple tools on how to go ahead and shift that and start to overcome those things and put them behind you. Okay, ready to go? So the jumping off on this again and again has been, and if you've watched all 5, you're probably tired of this quote by now. But what got me thinking about this was this quote from Brianna Wiest in her book 101 Essays That'll Change the Way You Think. And it was that discomfort is what happens when you're on the precipice of change. If you're feeling anxiety and you're watching this and you're trying to figure out what that anxiety is about, good news, man. That means you're on the precipice of change. That means that something is happening that is calling you to something greater. It's like this is your target. If you knock it over, boom, there's something good on the other side. Good stuff. I want to jump into a quote from Dr. James Hollis, who's a Jungian therapist who I love his writing. If you're into really heavy, really hard to read stuff that's really big and deep, read anything James Hollis has written. Through the Dark Woods is a tremendous audio recording. If you've got 17 hours of time, it's wonderful. It's deep stuff. But he said, no one can lead your life for you. No one can do your growing up for you. The task of psychological maturity is to become the steward of your own soul, to bear the burden of your own choices and their consequences. I know it seems a little harsh, but I love that about him because he's very, no one can lead your life for you. No one can do your growing up for you. You have to be the steward of your own soul, and you have to bear the burden of your own choices and their consequences. And part of that is like the anxieties we carry, is identifying those anxieties, realizing that that stuff's inside. If you're feeling any anxiety at all, it's not out here. It's all in here, right? We carry it in our bodies. And so we are literally the only ones who can unburden ourselves of it. We can get help, like you're getting help here, but only you can do the work to do it. So it's your responsibility to bear the burden of your own choices and their consequences. And one of the choices you can make right now is to just not have to deal with this anxiety anymore. It's your choice. You keep it or you get rid of it. What do you want to do? So psychological anxieties, let's identify them. So again, using the triggers on this, psychological anxieties feel like, spiraling thoughts. If you have spiraling thoughts, like something gets in your head and you just keep ruminating on it. Maybe it sticks with you all day. You keep coming back to it. There's a lot of this going on right now. And I want to make sure you understand when I say psychologically, we all have something psychologically we're dealing with that's can be anxiety levels. So some are different levels than others, but the world we live in now is programmed to stress us out. Like if you watch TV news, you're guaranteed to be carrying some anxiety. You may not even notice because it's so normal to you that it's just that tightness in your chest and the anxiety you carry around is like, oh, this is my normal, right? But you turn the TV off for a while, you realize you're actually carrying some stress around. We all have some psychological stress and anxiety. So when you identify it with things like, spiraling thoughts, unease, when facing self doubt. If you're thinking of anything that you want to do or you're thinking of doing, and you have this self doubt creep in, and it takes you into a small spiral of thoughts where you're like, anything that kind of spins you out and makes you kind of get in a spiral of thought and keeps recurring. These are probably all psychological triggers, okay? So that means the anxiety you're dealing with is a psychological anxiety, simply put. Clearly, we could do a whole seminar on this because it's a big, huge topic, but we're keeping it really simple here. So recognizing that thing, even though that thing may suck, is a really good thing. It's great because it's a growth opportunity. Your mind is telling you it's ready to evolve. Are you ready to help your mind evolve? Anais Nin, the great author, in her diaries wrote about, this coming to yourself moment where you have to face yourself. She said the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Sometimes the only way we can shift is when remaining in this miserable place we're in, or this discomfort we're in. Sometimes it has to get to the miserable point before we'll choose the thing that scares the hell out of us. The anxiety that is spinning you out, perhaps. The thing that just keeps coming around and around and around, spiraling thoughts can be so scary. But when our life on this side of it requires us to go after that to be able to make this side better, oftentimes it's that thing that has us giving us spiraling thoughts that is making us so miserable. We have no choice but to have to go after it. It's sort of like a bully in the hallway at school, right? Picking on you, slapping you around, pushing your books down, treating you badly. And at some point, you have to stand up and go, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not letting you abuse me. Spiraling thoughts can be that way. So, what do? You identify them and then you go after them. So, let's look at the tools necessary. These are the simple tools you can use to start reprogramming the way you think about this and actually shifting it and turning it into positive work. You ready? All right, here we go. Tool number 1, challenge your thoughts. Challenge your thoughts. Okay, this is going to seem overly simple maybe, but notice a negative thought, anything negative that comes into your head about whatever, spiraling thoughts. When I was talking about spiraling thoughts, did anything come up? Okay, maybe the thought is something like, uh, you're worried about work, for instance. Yeah, in the past, I've taken on new job roles, and I had self-doubt creep in. Like, oh wow, yeah, I haven't handled that particular software program, for instance. It was a new accounting software program that I had to become familiar with, and I hadn't used this particular program in 8 years or something, right? And I wasn't highly familiar with it then, but yeah, I said, yeah, I've used that program before, but now I've got this program in front of me, and my thoughts are telling me, oh, did you overstate your capabilities? And then the anxiety of like, what if I can't figure this? It's the what ifs, all those what ifs, right? What story am I telling myself at this point? What story are you telling yourself when you think about the self doubts and the spiraling thoughts? Is it, I'm not good enough? I'm not smart enough? I can't do this. I'm going to fail. Any of those things, write them down. Think about this, okay? What are the thoughts behind it? What's that spiraling thought? The fears behind it, okay? Now take that thought. Say that thought is, uh, I can't figure this out. I can't do this. And instead, flip it over and write down, I've got this. I can figure this out. I can Google it. I can use AI to figure out how to do this. Whatever the thing is, write the solution instead of the fear. So you could take the fear all day long and let it guide you, let it hold you back, or you can tell yourself, "I've got this," right? And I know this seems like, oh yeah, whatever. Maybe you're thinking that, but what this really is doing is it's rewiring. What's happening is your brain, you have this thought in there and it keeps bumping into the same wall like a little RC car that can't back up, right? What you're doing is you're removing the wall by rewiring the directions you're giving this thought. Instead of this thought being told, I can't, instead you're saying, I can figure this out. I can figure this out. And it's not instant, but it literally is rewiring your brain. This is new neural pathways, because what's happening is you're so practiced at thinking this way because your spiraling thoughts have gotten you there, that the only way to change it is to give yourself a new path to put your brain on. Like it's like picking up a kitten that's in a basket and going, here you go, I can get you out of that basket. Now I can walk around freely, but the walls were too high before. You're helping yourself out. You're guiding yourself. Okay. That's tool number 1. Okay. Tool number 2, if you've got self-doubts like these, and most of these spiraling thoughts are self-doubts or self-judgments, write down one step, one small tiny action item. Say, I'm going to use my accounting software story. I can get lost in the thought, man, I don't know this program. This is going to be hard. I'm going to look like a fool. I said I knew this program, but I haven't used it in years, and I'm going to look dumb. I can do all those things, or I can write down one tiny action item. Maybe my tiny action item is, hey, I know some great AI programs that I can probably look this up and figure it out. Like I said, get online, look it up. Oftentimes you can get an answer. AI right now is amazing like that. You can put any question in there. It'll give you a step by. It's better than customer service, in my opinion. Like frequently, instead of calling customer service somewhere, I'll just look it up in Grok and say, how do I do this? And it's like, here's 4 steps. And not once has it failed me yet. So write down one small action item you can do to overcome the thing that your BS nonsense brain is telling you is you can't do. The doubts it's putting in your brain, write down one way you can overcome that. Okay, you following me? Okay, so you're identifying, you're challenging the thought, noticing the thought, going, okay, I know what the thought is now. And now you're actually writing down a way that you can overcome the thing that you think is the roadblock. Instead of being stuck now, you are freeing yourself from it. Now, this doesn't work by doing it one time. Let's be clear about this. In rewiring your neural pathways, changing your ways of being, you have to do this again and again and again. Action's the key. So here you go. Every time you catch yourself doing this, every time you catch yourself with spiraling thoughts, I want you to think, Stacey talked about this. Stacey talked about this. And you're going to go, damn you, Stacey, you made me think. But that's good. If that pops in your head, this is that thing. As soon as you get a spiraling thought, what do? Identify it, write it down. Now, step 2, write down an action item for how you can overcome it. See, the easiest thing in the world to do is to just go, this sucks. Here's my insecurity. I'm going to embrace my insecurity. I'm going to keep that as my true story. Now you don't have to do anything, right? You just keep hugging your insecurity and holding it close. It doesn't change a damn thing. You stay stuck. The way you change it is you identify it, and instead of going, I'm going to hold it close, go, no. This is how I'm going to overcome you. This is how I'm going to kick your ass. And you write it down. You write down one thing. Now, is that it? No. Do that thing you wrote down. Action. Action is the key here. Take an action against that thing that's stressing you out. You can either let it stress you out or you can attack it. If it continues to stress you out, that's on you. This is that moment that Anais Nin was talking about. The day came when the risk to be tight in the bud becomes more painful than the risk it took to blossom. You got to blossom, go after it. Take the step forward to becoming the better you. That's the psychological side of this. Now, if you haven't figured out whether your anxiety is spiritual, emotional, or psychological, go back and watch them again. You got the time, right? Either way, I hope you got some value out of this. And if you did, that's excellent. Leave me a note in the show notes. Even better, this is your challenge. Let me challenge you. I want you to write in the show notes that you took the action. Not that you wrote it down, but that you took the action. Tell me in the show notes. Tell everyone, not just me. This helps everyone. When you leave a note down there, other people get inspired too. You're doing your work, but you're doing other people's work too, because it inspires people when we see you do your work. So tell me what action you took that was spinning you out, that starts to change what it is that you're stressed about, the thing that's got you spinning. Okay? Leave me a note. Thanks for being here, and thanks for checking out this series. Share it with friends if you think it'll be helpful to them. If you haven't checked out the Soul Podcast yet, check it out. It's much like this, but not quite so loose. Much longer stories and interviews as well about topics of psychology, philosophy, and spirit. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.